There are three main reasons why my students that come to me slice the ball.
Ed's been working with me as a student for a few years now and taught me these things. And when I go to play with some buddies, I can almost predict with 100% certainty when someone's about to slice it because I look for these three different things that Ed's going to teach you.
That's right. And when we first met, he was a slicer.
A really bad slicer. I'd have those banana balls that would go 50 yards to the right.
And now, if anything,
I'd draw it or hook it even.
That's right. And it's because he's learned these three things, and what he's learned, we're going to show you.
That's right.
The first reason why players slice happens at address in their setup. And so take a look at your setup and see if maybe it's only because of setup that you're mainly a slicer. The first thing that I see is either with their feet, hips, and shoulders, everybody aims way to the left. And that's pretty natural for somebody that slices, because the more your ball goes to the right, the more generally you have to aim left to keep the ball in the fairway. But the more you aim left, the more it goes right, and it's a never-ending cycle. So if you will, when you practice on the driving range, if you'll really make sure that feet, hips, and shoulders are parallel to your target line and not to the left, that will really help you. Sometimes a player's feet are correct, but when they address the ball, their shoulders get aimed way to the left. I see that a lot with good players that are mid to low handicappers that still slice. And a lot of times it's just shoulders. So make sure feet, hips, and shoulders are parallel to your target line, and that'll go a long ways towards helping most of you. The other thing that could happen as well is ball position. I could have it too much in the middle of my stance where it's just impossible to square the club up. It's also to have it too far forward in my stance, and then I've got to hold on to the finish in order to make contact, and I see that happening a lot. The best ball position for most people with driver is somewhere around this left shoulder, left pec for a right-handed player. The last issue that I see a lot of is players that are simply too close to the ball at address. And that makes it impossible to follow through correctly, and the handle gets ahead of the club head at impact, and the face points to the right. And that'll promote a huge block slice to the right. And it also, you'll pop the ball up straight up in the air a lot if you're too close to the ball. So if you're hitting shots that go right and you're hitting an occasional pop-up, it's pretty likely that you're just simply too close to the ball at address. The second reason people slice is probably the predominant reason that I find once they're set up correctly. And that's that they take the club back too flat on the backswing. When they're parallel to the ground, their shaft is not parallel to the target line. It's way back here behind them. That causes the club head to stay behind you. It can never square up. And again, you'll either hit a lot of top shots or you'll hit a lot of shots that go way right. So takeaway is really important. One of my favorite drills for that is this cross-handed drill, where you can learn just to turn your body with the club staying in between your arms to start, and that will really help you. The third reason that most people struggle with driver especially if you hit your short irons pretty straight, but it's your driver that slices, and that happens to a lot of people. It's because the club's too steep on the downswing. And whenever the shaft is pointed down to the ground, when my hands release, it brings the club from the outside the target line and across. You can hit a lot of tops if that's the case. You can hit a lot of low balls to the left, but what most people do is they start down steep and then they drop the club behind them, and so it impact that wipes across, and that produces that pull slice. So if you're a pull slicer, it's likely that your club is too steep on the way down. Now that's why the second step with the takeaway inside so bad is from this position, I can't swing to the ball and make contact. The only way I can hit it is to come steep and from the outside as well. So that takeaway can also promote too steep a downswing. And so driver is the flattest shaft angle of any club in your bag. And when we're too steep, instead of being flatter, that really promotes a slice. So concentrate on these three things and it should help fix your slice. So you've seen me explain just three things that causes a slice.
Probably some of the most common ones, absolutely.
But by far what I see as the most common ones. However, that may not be your issue. And what we've come up with here this year is a very comprehensive step-by-step program that will help you identify where your issues are, and then also give you the tools and the drills that you need to improve them and to fix them.
That's right. One of the things that Ed's taught me as a student, which I really thought was interesting, is that he refers to himself as a golf murder detective, where he's trying to identify all the suspects in your golf swing, and he'll watch you real closely and see what you might have that's causing your issue. And it's a matter of identifying them systematically and then eliminating them, and make sure that you kill off that suspect that's causing your slice or your hook or whatever it might be.
Yeah, that's right. So a great detective has a suspect list, and he systematically eliminates each one, and eventually he's down to one and that he can't eliminate, and he knows that's the guy.
That's the one. And if you fix that one, often that will be the root cause of your slice, and you can get rid of it.
And if you would come to me for a lesson, I do this checklist in my own mind watching somebody hit balls. And so this is really how I teach, is this fundamental checklist. And I'm sharing it with you in the hopes that it'll improve your golf game.
And this is the same system that you kind of took me through when I was a student a few years ago, and it's really helped my slice. And I've been able to sit in on several of your lessons and watch you go through this type of system, and I can see the process in action, and it's really amazing when you go through and figure out what's your big reason and eliminate it.
That's right. So if you're interested, I think it'll really help your game. I recommend it to everybody that's a slicer, or send it to your friends that are slicers.
That's right.
And unless you're taking too much money from them, but send it to your friends or family, and it'll really help everybody. And we have a lifetime guarantee with it. If you go through this process and it doesn't improve your game, just let us know and we'll give you your money back.
That's right. There's a link on this page if you want to check it out in the description. You can give it a try and let us know what you think.
Yep.